Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hi. Do me a favor, and can you please type in the chat if you can see and hear me okay? Okay, just type in the chat. Can you see and can you hear me okay? Welcome, everybody. Hello, hello. My name is Tutor Nicole, and I'm from the United States. Where are you from? Where are you today? What country are you in? Hi from Lithuania. Awesome. Okay, so you can see and hear me. Thank you. Hi from Nepal and Bangladesh. Good morning. Hi. Hi from China. Hi from Nepal and Turkey. Hello from Brazil and South Korea. Hi. Hello from China, Latvia. Hi from India and London. Thank you so much for joining the live today. Hi from Sri Lanka and Saudi Arabia. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Hello. Hi from Vietnam, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Vietnam, South Africa, Bangladesh. Hi from Nepal. Hello. Hello from the Ukraine and Mexico, India. Awesome. So we have people calling in from all over today, which is great. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for checking in. Some of you have asked, so I'll tell you right away. Today is part 2 of active and passive voice. Last Sunday, we focused on the active voice, and today we're going to be learning about the passive voice. So while we're waiting everybody to join, those of you who watched my Cambly Live last Sunday, can you tell me what did we learn about the active voice? Okay, so while you're joining today, just type in the chat, what did you learn about the active voice from our live last Sunday? Okay. Hi from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Iraq. Thank you again so much for joining us. If you are just now checking in, today we're going to be learning about the active versus passive voice. Last Sunday we learned about active voice. So go ahead and type in the chat, what did you learn about the active voice? Okay. So someone said when the subject performs the verb in a sentence. Okay, so basically when the subject comes first, right? The subject and then the verb and then the object. Very good. Yeah, these are some really great responses. Thank you. So again, the active voice, as we learned last Sunday, is when the subject performs the verb, right? It's what a person or thing does, and the main focus is the subject doing the verb, doing the action, right? So it really focuses on the subject. And today, we are focusing more on the passive voice. Okay, and so you'll see behind me, I have a poster that describes the passive voice. And then here are some examples of different tenses that you can use that shows you the difference of those tenses in the active and passive voice. Okay? And while you guys are joining, I just want to remind you, if you come a little late, no worries. You can always rewatch the video once it's posted from the very beginning. Okay? So, an example of an active voice, remember it's the subject, the verb, and then the object. So, for example, someone named Tim. Tim hit the ball. Okay, so this is the subject, verb, and the object. Tim hit the ball. But with passive voice, you're going to reverse it. Okay, so you're going to flip-flop it. And basically, you would say, for example, the ball was hit by Tim. So you take the subject here, and you put it at the end and the object at the beginning. Okay? So, in the passive voice, the verb acts upon the subject. Every sentence in the passive voice contains two verbs. Okay, so when talking in the passive voice, it always contains two verbs. The first one is the conjugated form of to be. So is, was, and then the next one is the main verb's past participle. Okay? And so because of this, every sentence in the passive voice also includes a preposition when you're including the subject. An example of a preposition would be by, or maybe from. And so the ball was hit. If you didn't have a preposition, it would just say the ball was hit Tim, which is why when we're talking in the passive voice, you need to have the preposition before the subject. The ball was hit by Tim. Okay? So, an example, summer break is, which is the form of to be, beloved, which is the past participle of the main verb, by, which is the preposition, and students. Okay? So again, it is the subject. This could be I, you, he, she, they, we. It could be Tim, Sandra. The verb to be in the past participle. Okay? Does that make sense? So another more simple term of talking about the passive voice is just the target acts on the actor. So in the active voice, it's the actor who acts on the target, but in passive, it's the target who acts on the actor. So you're always talking about the object or the target first, and then the actor, the subject. Okay? And here is a formula that you can use. So target or subject, the verb, and then the actor. Okay? Target or object, and then the actor or subject. So an example of a target, maybe the bed is made by me. Or the table is cleaned by me. Notice before the actor, you always have to have that preposition. And the main one is going to be the word by. Okay? So go ahead and give me an example of writing in the passive voice. What is something that you did today? And use that as an example in passive voice. For example, the cup was filled. Okay, so we had to be, and then the verb was filled by me. The cup was filled by me. Okay, so what is something that you did today? And go ahead and use this formula and write in the passive voice. And I'll read your examples. Okay, so the game was made by me. Awesome. The book is read by me. Very good. It's following this exact same formula, which is awesome. The laptop was turned on by me. My laptop was stolen. The cake was made by me. Good. And And another thing to talk about with passive voice is you don't always have to have a subject. In the active voice, since the subject is the main topic, it's the main focus, you always have to have a subject. But with the passive voice, you don't have to have the subject. So for example, instead of saying like the bed was made by me, you could just say the bed was made. The house was cleaned. The oven was turned on. Okay. Yeah, I love these sentences. The dog was fed by me. The book is read by me. Now, why don't you try to make a sentence in the passive voice without having an actor or a subject? Okay, so just try with just the target and then the verb. So for example, the couch was cleaned. The bed was made. Or the bus is driven. The car is parked. The clock was fixed. Yes, good examples. Yeah, and you can always talk about different subjects too. So Justin's example, the food is cooked by my wife. It doesn't always have to be about us. That's good, yeah. Good. Today, the bike was fixed. The bank was robbed. Okay. And so notice when you guys are writing these sentences, you technically have those two verbs. You have to be and then your main verb. So when you say the bike was fixed, you have the verb to be using in the passive voice. Yeah. Really good job. The song is played. Nice job. Now, I want to ask you guys, do you talk more in the passive voice or in the active voice? Do you say the bed was made by me or I made the bed? What do you use more? Personally, I think maybe 95% of the time I'm talking in active voice. Instead of saying the trash was taken out by me, I'll normally say I took out the trash. But why would we need to know passive voice? Why do people talk in passive voice, do you think? And when would people need to talk in passive voice? Just for fun? Okay. So we'll get into that later, and I'll tell you why they use passive voice and when they use passive voice. Okay. So an example of passive voice, it's commonly used in like science, for example. Here it says the solution was poured into the beaker and heated to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so was poured is the verb. Obviously, the object is going first. And notice how there's no subject. There's no person. Yeah, good job. Okay. Now, in active voice, to compare what it would look like, notice how it's really focusing in the active voice on the subject. It says, I poured the solution into the beaker and heated it to 100 degrees. So this is the same exact sentence, but notice that passive voice could be anybody. We don't know who poured it in because there's no subject, but active really focuses on I did it. Yeah. So this does focus a little more on the target, right? Yeah, good job. So we're gonna play a game and I'm going to have you guess, is it passive or is it active? And so you can just type in the chat, passive or active, okay? So the first sentence is, click the submit button. And when we're doing this, I really want you guys to focus. Where is the object? Where is the subject? And where is the verb? Okay. So this is a hard one because there's no subject, right? But this is actually active. This is active voice because the verb comes first and then the object is second. And notice how here there is no subject. If you wanted to, you could say, I click the submit button or she clicks the submit button. But notice how it's not necessary to use it to talk in the active. Okay, good job. Our next one. Performance was measured by the director. Performance was measured by the director. Okay, so where is the verb? Where is the object? Where is the subject? Okay, you guys get 100%. Everybody said passive. And why is it passive? Notice we have by here. The director is the subject and it is last. Okay, the performance, I guess you could say, is the target, right? Was measured is the verb. Awesome job, you guys. 100%. Yes. Good. Okay, let's do another one. The orbit was calculated by Katherine Johnson. So where is the object, verb, and subject in the sentence? And you will know based on these formulas up here, is it active or is it passive? Awesome job, you guys. Yes.
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh, my watch was talking, sorry. This is passive. How did you know this was passive? How did you know? Yes, it's because the object went first, the orbit. Katherine Johnson is the subject, that was last. And then we have the preposition right here, which is by. Yeah, so that's an easy one too, where it says by. Good. Instead of Katherine Johnson in the beginning. Good. Okay, the actress won the prize to the ceremony. Is this active or passive? The actress won the prize to the ceremony. Okay, again, 100%. This is active. Why is it active? Because the actress is the subject. Won is the verb. Ceremony is the object or the target. Good. Awesome. You can have a quick water break. Okay, we're gonna do a few more. This one says, shoes should be removed before entering my house. Okay, so where is the subject? Where is the object? This one's complicated. Okay. Yes, again, this one's hard. This is hard, but this is actually passive. This is passive. Okay? Yeah, because it is exactly, it is focused to the object, right? It's not focusing to the subject. Good job. I really like how you worded that. That's great. Nice. Okay, here we have, you are required to exit. You are required to exit. You are required to exit. Is this one active or is it passive? Okay, so we're getting a mix here of active and passive. This is hard. This is a hard one because it doesn't necessarily follow our formula, right? It's not so easy. So you are required to exit. Yes, okay, so this is passive. Can anyone explain why they think it's passive? Why is this one passive? Okay, so why is this one? Yes, I was sitting on the fence too. Yes. Why is this one passive? You are required to exit. Yeah, here they're using you as like the object, right? And is it focusing on you or is it focusing on like exiting? Okay. Right. So in active, it would have been I am required to exit by someone. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Now the next one we are going to do is please remove your shoes before entering my home. Please remove your shoes before entering my home. Is this one passive or active? Okay, so is home, is that the object? Or is the subject? Okay, very good. Yep, this is an active voice sentence. Good job. Let's go ahead and let's do another activity. This activity, what you're going to do is I'm going to give you a sentence in the active voice, and I'm going to have you make it passive. So remember what you're going to do here is you're going to use the formula and you're going to switch it to make it passive. Okay. So you'll type in the chat when I give you a sentence. You're going to make it passive. Okay, remember it's the target plus the verb plus the actor. And then in the active voice, it's the actor, verb, and then target. Okay, so are you guys ready? Yeah? Okay. So the active is the girl makes tea. The girl makes tea. Can you make this passive? Can you make this passive? Okay, so the girl's the subject, makes is the verb, and tea is the object. So how would you make this into passive? And notice how makes is in the present tense. Okay. Good. So the passive, the girl was, sorry, the tea was made by the girl, or you could say the tea is made by the girl. Okay, so I actually think I messed up here. Since it's makes, I think it should be is made and not was made. Good. So the tea is made by the girl. Nice job. Woohoo! Yeah, good job, you guys. Let's do another one. So go ahead and make this into passive. David cooks chicken. David cooks chicken. David cooks chicken. How do you make this passive? Okay, so you can always put words in front of the words, right? So instead of chicken, maybe you say the chicken. Okay, so David cooks chicken. Okay, and we're gonna wanna use the same verb. So we're gonna use cook again and not made, okay? So you guys are exactly right. The passive of this one would be the chicken is cooked by David You could also just say chicken is cooked by David, but it is more formal to say the chicken is cooked by David. And I really love how you guys remember to use the preposition by. Good memory. Woohoo! Yeah, high five, everybody. Good job. All right, let's do another one. So the active is the teacher taught a lesson. Notice how taught is in the past tense. The teacher taught a lesson. The teacher taught a lesson. Let's go ahead and make it passive. The teacher taught a lesson. Awesome. Yes. The teacher taught a lesson. Okay, you guys are right. So we could say technically a lesson or the lesson was taught by the teacher. So to make it passive, we just flip-flopped everything and we put the teacher last and the object first, which is the lesson. The lesson was taught by the teacher. Awesome job, you guys. Yes, the lesson was taught by the teacher. Nice. Okay, so I am just going to pause here and remind everybody, if you are just now joining our live session, do not worry. You can always stop the video and go back once this is posted and watch it from the beginning, okay? Are there any questions for me so far regarding the passive voice? Any questions so far? All right, I'll go ahead and give you guys a quick second to get those questions in. But our next activity is we are going to be making our own passive voice sentences. Okay, awesome. Elon, thank you. So you can always schedule on this video, once it's posted, there will be a link posted to this video and you can schedule a lesson with me. Okay, any more questions? Okay, kindly explain the passive of perfect progressive tense. Perfect progressive. So here I have these different tenses. I do not have perfect progressive up, but maybe we could do that in a later session. Oh, yes. Okay, so passive is definitely used more in formal writing than it is when talking. That's a really great question. So yes, it is more common to find passive writing in writing than it is active. But remember, you use passive when you want to focus on the objects, and then you use active when you want to focus on the subject. Okay, Elon, I will be opening up some more classes for you this week. Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and move on with our next activity. So I'm going to give you guys an object, a verb, and a subject. And all I want you to do is make your own passive sentence. So you're going to make a sentence using the 3 things that I give you. Okay? So, are you guys ready to create a passive voice sentence? All right. So I'm going to hide this at the bottom because it has the answer. But the subject here is Anna. The verb is to paint. The object is a house. So can you please type in the chat, how would you make a passive voice sentence with these 3 things? So the subject, Anna, verb is paint, and object is a house. Remember that the object always goes first. Okay, very good. Yes, it should be the house was painted by Anna. Awesome, the house was painted by Anna. Okay, good job, everybody. Nice. Let's do another one. The subject here is dad. The verb is post, and the object is video. So we did use these same 3 things in last Sunday's video for the active voice, but remember guys, today we're practicing our passive voice. So let's make a sentence using these 3 things, but in the passive voice. Okay? Yes. So first we're gonna put the video and then post and then dad, but what has to come before dad? By dad. The video was posted by dad. Awesome. And so does this make us focus more on dad, or are we focusing more on the video? Right? We focus more on the video when it's at the beginning of the sentence. And you could even say like the video was posted by my dad, by her dad, right? Good job. Next, the subject is teacher, the verb is grade, the object is paper. Okay, so remember, paper has to go first. Grade is when she grades the paper, and then the teacher is the subject. So go ahead and make a passive voice sentence using these 3 things. And remember, guys, you can use any tense that you would like here. Okay, so you could do maybe graded, was graded, right? Has graded. Awesome. So the answer is the paper was graded by the teacher. Again, your answers could fluctuate as long as you have the paper first. Okay, you could also say just the papers, right? And then the subject is last, which is the teacher. Good. Nice job, you guys. All right, we have one more. The last one, we have the subject is the student, the verb is read, and the object is book. So please use these, work your magic, and form a sentence using the passive voice. Okay. Okay, very good. So remember, we could say is read or was read or has been read. Awesome. So here, my example, I said the book was read by the student. You could also say something really complicated. You could make it even more fun. You could say the difficult book is being read by the student. Tomo, that's a great sentence. Awesome. The book was being read by the student when you called her. Love it. The book has been read by many students. I love it. Yes, so these are all still written in the passive voice. That is really awesome. I'm so proud of you guys. You're doing a great job. Okay, so we have one last activity before I say goodbye to everybody today. And the activity is, I'm going to challenge you to write about your day so far. And what you have to do is write 2 to 3 sentences talking about your day in the passive voice. Okay? So, we're going to write 2 to 3 sentences about what you did today using the passive voice. While you guys are writing, don't forget to take a look at the passive voice poster. You could also take a look at the different tenses, and I will give you a few examples. So since I'm in the United States and it's only 10:30 in the morning, I haven't done much today, but here is what I did today, okay? So first, the bed was made by me. The water was drank by me. And what else? So the bed was made. The house was cleaned, right? And the students were taught. Awesome. So I'll read some of your examples. The food was ate by me. The ball was hit by me. The bicycle was ridden by me. Good. The paper was graded by my teacher. Ooh, tasty food was eaten by me. I'm so jealous. The Cambly videos were watched while I was eating my lunch. The kitchen was cleaned by me. The coffee was made by me. Awesome. Okay. And remember, you don't always have to use the subject in the passive voice. You could just say, for example, the coffee was made or the house was cleaned. The Cambly lesson was watched by me and a lot of people today. The delicious food was cooked by my mother. I would love to try your mother's food. My air conditioner was fixed by an engineer. Okay. Cambly reached 150 subscribers by the students. Wow, that's awesome. Your video was seen by me. Good. Wow, congratulations to being promoted to a director. Good sentences, everybody. Yeah, the coffee was made by me. Awesome. So yeah, keep those sentences coming. Also, I'm gonna let you guys ask any questions before I leave today. So yeah, get your sentences in using the passive voice. Ask me any questions you have. And then I'm going to leave you guys today with a discount code. The discount code is Go Live. You can get up to 36% off of your yearly subscriptions. All you have to do is go to Cambly's website and use this promo code. And again, you can get up to 36% off of your subscription. You can also click the link below for watching our live video today. Thank you guys so much for coming and watching part 2 of the active and passive voices. We are here every single Sunday doing a Cambly Live, and I had a lot of fun with you guys today. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a wonderful day, and don't forget to practice your active and passive voices. Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.